Welcome back to the Melting Pot. My name's William, and as you might know, this channel is really devoted to just me reading things that I'm interested in or really just participating in my hobbies. Right now, it's just a lot of reading. So, today, what we're going to do is dive into the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a little ways into it, so I am starting where I have gotten to on my own reading, um, but we'll work our way through it from this point on. This episode is going to be devoted to some poems, as the title probably suggests. So, this is working our way into his short stories. I'm towards the end of his poems, so I'm just going to go until I find a suitable stopping point, and that'll be the episode. And then we'll move into hopefully short stories soon as well, so we can get through this whole complete works. To start, we're going to read an enigma. Seldom we find, says Solomon Don Dunce, half an idea in the profoundest sonnet, through all the flimsy things we see at once, as easily as through a Naples bonnet, trash of all trash, how can a lady don it? Yet heavier far than your Petrarchan stuff, owl downy nonsense, that the faintest puff twirls into trunk paper the while you con it, and veritably soul is right enough. The general Tucker manatees are errant bubbles, ephemeral and so transparent. But this is now, you may depend upon it, stable, opaque, immortal, all by dint of the dear names that lie concealed within it. The bells. Here are the sledges with the bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells! How they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle in the icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens seem to twinkle with a crystalline delight, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and tinkling of the bells. Hear the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight, from the molten golden notes, and all in tune. What a liquid ditty floats to the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. Oh, from out the sounding cells, what a gush of euphony voluminously wells. How it swells, how it dwells on the future, how it tells of the rapture that impels to the swinging and the ringing of the bells, 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 of the bells, 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 to the rhyming of the chiming of the bells. Hear the loud alarum bells, brazen bells. What tale of terror now their turbulency tells in the startled ear of night? How they scream out their affright, too much horrified to speak. They can only shriek, shriek out of tune, in a clamorous appealing to the mercy of the fire, in a mad expostulation with the deaf of and frantic fire, leaping higher, 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 with a desperate desire, and a resolute endeavor, now to sit or never, by the side of the pale-faced moon. Oh, the bells, bells, bells! What a tale their terror tells of despair! How they clang and clash and roar! What a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air! Yet the ear it fully knows, by the twanging and the clanging, how the danger ebbs and flows. Yet the ear distinctly tells, in the jangling and the wrangling, how the danger sinks and swells, by the sinking or the swelling and the anger of the bells, of the bells, of the bells, 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 and the clamor and the clangor of the bells. Hear the tolling of the bells, iron bells. What a world of solemn thought their monody compels! In the silence of the night, how we shiver with affright at the melancholy meaning of the tone. From every sound that floats from the rust within their throats is a groan. And the people, ah, the people, they that dwell up in the steeple, all alone, and who, tolling, 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 in that muffled monotone, feel a glory in so rolling on the human heart a stone. They are neither man nor woman, they are neither brute nor human, they are ghouls, and their king it is who tolls, and he rolls, 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 a paean from the bells, and his merry bosom swells with the paean of the bells, and he dances and he yells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the paean of the bells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the throbbing of the bells, 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 to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, 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 as he knells, 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 and a happy runic rhyme to the rolling of the bells, 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 to the tolling of the bells, of the bells, 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 to the moaning and the groaning of the bells. That was a very rhythmic story. To Helen. I saw thee once, once only years ago. I must not say how many, but not many. It was a July midnight, and from out a full-orbed moon, that like thine own soul soaring sought a precipitate pathway up through heaven. There fell a silvery silken veil of light, with quietude and sultriness and slumber, upon the upturned faces of 1,000 roses that grew in an enchanted garden, where no wind dared to stir, unless on tiptoe, fell on the upturned faces of these roses that gave out, in return for the love light, their odorous souls, and an ecstatic death fell on the upturned faces of these roses that smiled and died in this parterre enchanted by thee and by the poetry of thy presence. Clad all in white upon a violet bank, I saw thee half reclining while the moon fell on the upturned faces of the roses, and on thine own upturned, alas, in sorrow. Was it not fate that on this July midnight, was it not fate, whose name is also sorrow, that bade me pause before that garden gate, to breathe the incense of those slumbering roses? No footstep stirred, the hated world all slept, save only thee and me. O heaven, O God, how my heart beats in coupling those two words. Save only thee and me. I paused, I looked, and in an instant all things disappeared. Ah, bear in mind this garden was enchanted. The pearly luster of the moon went out, the mossy banks and the meandering paths, the happy flowers and the repining trees were seen no more. The very roses' odors died in the arms of the adoring airs. All expired, save thee. Save less than thou, save only the divine light in thine eyes, save but the soul in thine uplifted eyes. I saw but them. They were the world to me. I saw but them. Saw only them for hours. Saw only them until the moon went down. What wild heart history seemed to he enwritten upon those crystalline celestial spheres? How dark a woe, yet how sublime a hope! How silently serene a sea of pride! How daring an ambition, yet how deep, how fathomless a capacity for love! But now at length dear Dian sank from sight into a western couch of thunder cloud, and thou, a ghost, amid the entombing trees, didst glide away. Only thine eyes remained, they would not go. They never yet have gone, lightening my lonely pathways home that night. They have not left me as my hopes have, since. They followed me, they led me through the years, they are my ministers, yet I their slave. Their office is so illumine and enkindle my duty to be saved by their bright light, and purified in their electric fire, and sanctified in their Elysian fire. They fill my soul with beauty, which is hope, and are far up in heaven, the stars I kneel to in the sad, silent watches of my night. While even in the meridian glare of day I see them still, two sweetly scintillant Venuses, unextinguished by the sun. A dream within a dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in a night, or in a day, in a vision, or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? For Annie. Thank heaven, the crisis, the danger is past, and the lingering illness is over at last, and the fever called living is conquered at last. Sadly, I know I am shorn of my strength, and no muscle I move as I lie at full length, but no matter, I feel I am better at length, and I rest so composedly now in my bed, that my beholder might fancy me dead. Might start at beholding me, thinking me dead. The moaning and groaning and sighing and sobbing are quieted now, with the horrible throbbing at my heart. Ah, that horrible, horrible throbbing! The sickness, the nausea, the pitiless pain, have seized within the fever that maddened my brain, with the fever called living, that burned in my brain. And oh, of that all tortures, that torture the worst, has abated the terrible torture of thirst. For the naphthaline river of passion accursed, I have drank of a water that quenches all thirst, of a water that flows with a lullaby sound from the spring, but a very few feet underground, from a cavern not far down underground. And ah, let it never be foolishly said that my room it is gloomy and narrow my bed, for man never slept in a different bed, and to sleep you must slumber in such a bed. My tantalizing spirit here blandly reposes, forgetting or never regretting its roses, its old agitations of myrtles and roses, for now, while so quietly lying, it fancies a holier odor about it of pansies, a rosemary odor commingled with pansies, with rue and the beautiful Puritan pansies. And so it lies happily, bathing in many, a dream of the truth and the beauty of Annie. Drowned in a bath of the tresses of Annie, she tenderly kissed me, she fondled, caressed, and then I fell gently to sleep on her breast, deeply to sleep from the heaven of her breast. When the light was extinguished, she covered me warm, and she prayed to the angels to keep me from harm, to the Queen of the angels to shield me from harm, and I lie so composedly now in my bed, knowing her love, that you fancy me dead, and I rest so contentedly now in my bed, with her love at my breast, that you fancy me dead, that you shudder to look at me, thinking me dead. But my heart it is brighter than all of the many stars in the sky, for it sparkles with Annie. It glows with the light of the love of my Annie, with the thought of the light of the eyes of my Annie. Eldorado. Gaily bedlight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of Eldorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like Eldorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of Eldorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow, ride boldly, ride, the shade replied, if you seek for Eldorado. Sonnet to my mother. Because I feel that in the heavens above the angels whispered to one another, can find among their burning terms of love none so devotional as that of my mother. Therefore by that dear name I long have called you, you who are more than mother unto me, and fill my heart of hearts where death installed you, and setting my Virginia's spirit free. My mother, my own mother, who died early, was but the mother of myself, but you are mother to the one I loved so dearly, and thus are dearer than the mother I knew, by the infinity with which my wife was dearer to my soul than its sole life. Annabel Lee. It was many, many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved. She was a child, and I was a child, in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling my Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in the kingdom of by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, all the men know, in the kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of my far wiser than we, and and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing my dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, and her tomb by the side of the sea. All right, I think that's gonna wrap up this round of poems. Next up, we have scenes from Pelitian, which is an unpublished drama. So I think we'll take a chance at reading that. I don't know how I'll do reading a play format, um, but I'll give that one a try potentially, and then we're going to move into shortly after Galician, we'll hit the actual fiction, where we'll start off with um, Metzge- Metzengerstein. Hard to pronounce for me, but we'll start with that one when we hit the real fiction. So thank you guys for joining me.